everybody, today I am here with an A-level sketchbook video for you. So 2 years ago I filmed a GCSE sketchbook video and it went down really well. It's been shared quite a lot of times and I think it's really helped a lot of you with your coursework. So I thought I would share my A-level exam project with you. Unfortunately I haven't been able to share my A-level coursework books with you because I only finished them like late last thing on the night of the deadline for the A-level coursework. So I haven't been able to share those, but hopefully I will be able to share them later on once I get them back. And if you would like that, please comment below and let me know so I know whether you want me to do that. But I thought I'd share with you today my A-level exam project. So just a quick briefing. I am on Edexcel and the title, so on Edexcel you only get given one title, which is kind of limiting, but I didn't actually have a problem with that because I quite like the title we got given and it had quite a lot of scope in it. So our title was Freedom and or Limitations, and so I took with this to go sort of down a women's rights path, maybe like representation of women. I wasn't quite sure what I was going for, but I had a few artists that I had seen before that I really wanted to look at, so I tried to incorporate those into my project. And yeah, I'm hoping it's going pretty well. I don't know what grade I'm going to get for this yet. I'm hoping for an A or a B, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. But hopefully once I find out what my grade is, I'll be able to put it in the title of this video. So if you watch this after about August time, you will actually just be able to look at the title and find out what grade I got. So yeah, I'm just going to get straight on with the video and sharing with you what is in my sketchbook. So as you can see, for this project I chose to use a square sketchbook. I'd never used a square sketchbook before, but I was really intrigued because I'd seen a few other people use them, and so I chose this sketchbook for my project. This is my initial like mind map plan for my project. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I really like the colour scheme in the background, and this was just a bunch of ideas that I had in relation to my title, Freedom and Limitations. And then if you turn over to the first page, I always start my project with a collage because I just find that it collects loads of secondary source imagery together and it allows you to really get a feel for, you know, where you might want to go, and it lets you explore some artists as well. And then I've just got like a little flap in here with some acetate on tracing paper with my annotation. Turning over to the next page, I have my first artist. This artist is called Sophia Bonatti, and I was looking at photos that I had taken from one of my friends, so I have that on this flap here. And if I just turn this back in so you can see both pieces of work, I looked particularly at this work from her Amazing Girl series and this work which is called Poppy, and I created my own two pieces based off this. And like roughly the idea was, you know, this one was looking at like the complexity of the female with the mazes, and this one was kind of supposed to be criticising like the stereotypical use of floral imagery for females. I'm not entirely sure how well it works reflecting that, but I really like the two pieces either way. Then turning over to my second artist, I've again used a photo of my friend. I've used photos, all my own photos for this project, and this is in oil paints. So this is a painting that I did in my own interpretation of her style, and I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. I haven't really used oil paints very much before or to much success, but I really like this piece, and I really like especially like the effect of the top and all the blue skin and everything. She tries to look at sort of teens in society, I guess, and emphasising the flaws, hence the red nose, and she, like, you can see some of the annotation there. But basically it's supposed to be more about, you know, not looking at the perfect figure and just embracing the person as is. And then I've just done a couple of little samples here to do some loose work as well. So the next page, this artist is called Christina Trufer. She does these sort of like negative space pieces that, like, it's all herself in all of the subjects are herself, like multiple times in each canvas, and it looks at just like daily mundane tasks. So I got a picture of some of my friends from my dance class changing their dance shoes, and I'm really pleased with how this piece worked out. It's a bit odd on orange, but I quite like it. Some of the darker tones I'm not as keen on, but I particularly like the pinks and whites and the skin tones as well. I then went on to look at Natalie Foss. This is one of my favourite artists, and you will see it carried forward. I mean, you can see a bit of it peeking through from later on in the project. But this is probably my favourite drawing in the sketchbook. It's of my friend Eleanor, who you can see the same picture from before. Natalie Foss also looks at unusual ways of representing women. So yeah, I quite liked this style. The next page, I've then gone on to some experimentation. This is, again, it's tying together a few of the artists then. So we have the Natalie Foss style in the illustration, but also the Sophia Bonatti Mae style in the background. And then we also look at the negative space in the use of her, like in her top. So I looked at Christina Trufer again for that. I'm less keen on how it has come out with her shirt, just because I think it covers more skin, so there's a bit too much negative space, and this isn't one of my best drawings, it isn't the most accurate, but I do like the overall effect of the piece. My next one, I kept experimenting in. My mum is in this piece, and I particularly like in this piece the arm and the hair. I'm just really pleased with how they came out. I think it's pretty cool. And so the idea of this was, again, to combine some of the artists, but this was sort of supposed to be criticising stereotypes of male and female roles. So my mum is pretending to change a car tyre there in order to have a female doing a more masculine activity. But then contrasting with that with all the florals, of course, to sort of, you know, make the viewer question it a bit more. We then have this piece, it's Adara Sanchez Anguiano inspired. I really like this piece, actually. I think it's pretty cool, even though it's really simple. My friend Eleanor is modelling in this again. I've just used like soft colour pencils and then watercolour for the background circle, and it was a really quick study, this one, actually. But I really like the use of like the background spot to make the foreground stand out, and the use of negative space again. And this is sort of supposed to be, so her series is called Take Off Your Clothes, and it's sort of supposed to be challenging the idea that obviously it's acceptable for men in society to take off more of their clothing, whereas for women that wouldn't be seen as acceptable. This is just carrying on experimenting with some different media to incorporate some different media into my book, and then I just have a bit of a shoot in here as well. So the different media on there, it's just a variety of biro pens on grey board, and these are just some more pictures of my shoot with Eleanor. Again, I've used my mum here. This one is looking at the contrast between male and female stereotypes. Obviously, she's opening a jam jar, and so it's something stereotypical you might ask a man to do. You know, it requires more strength. But again, jam jars are kitchen items, which is more stereotypically female. Then I've used leaves behind her rather than flowers. For this, I've just had a look and a bit of an analysis of Amy Sherald and Kahinda Wiley, who, if you haven't seen, you should have a look. They've done these portraits. They're the official presidential portraits of Michelle and Barack Obama. They're really cool because they challenge, you know, traditional roles by using more geometric shapes in Michelle's like dress and skirt, whereas more floral patterns behind Barack, and I think they're really cool. The next page, these are some quite funny pictures of me. So this is talking about the idea of the glass ceiling for women in the business world. Women can't push through the glass ceiling, they can't get through, and there's this metaphorical glass ceiling that is preventing women from getting into higher roles in businesses. And so the idea of this was that the women were pushing against the ceiling but couldn't get through. So I tried this under a glass table before. First, I thought that was cool, but I still think you get a bit too much background, so I quite liked these scanned ones. And then I have attempted to draw this, although this is probably one of my weaker studies in my sketchbook. I've then gone on to the initial ideas and developing for my final piece. So I've just written a bit of a summary of like what I think about what's gone well and not so far in the book. So particularly that I liked the Natalie Foss style pieces, which was the one with the pink hair. But then some of the other pieces weren't so effective, like the Natalie Foss piece on Orange Card wasn't so effective. And that was better when it was done in bigger colour and in bigger scale sort of thing. And then I looked at alternative ways of doing the maze. Now, if you can see, this one is far more precise than this one. So this one I paper cut by hand using a scalpel and cutting board, whereas this one I used our school's laser cutter facilities. And that one obviously looks far neater, so I'm taking that idea forward to my final piece. We then look at development with two different studies. So we have this study of one of my friends and I'm looking at the Natalie Foss style, but I've gone for more block colour area and on white paper. Now I liked it less on white paper and thought it was too much block colour, so I've developed that by going forward with this picture of my parents. And so this one I made sure they had more of their skin showing because I thought there was too much block colour. I used shading for the t-shirts and then block colour again for the hair, but obviously for a smaller area, and I think this is more effective. So then I'm taking this idea forward to my final piece, and this is the last page that I have finished to show you, and this is my background development. So I have 4 different backgrounds here, and I'm planning on going forward with a combination of these two. This one's kind of a galactic looking theme, whereas this one has more geometric shapes, and I'm going to combine the geometric shapes to have the more masculine harsh line shapes behind my mum and the more feminine like softer line shapes behind my dad, to again make the viewer challenge what their preconceptions would be, as often it might be expected for those things to be the other way around. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at my A-level sketchbook video, and if you have any questions about it, just comment them below. By the time I have uploaded this, I will have finished my exam, and hopefully I will be able to include a picture of my final piece at the end. I don't have my final design page quite finished in my book. That is my job for tonight, so I wasn't able to show you that, but hopefully you'll be able to see my final piece at the end of the video. I really hope you've enjoyed this. Please like below, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, or if you want any like A-level or GCSE video advice, and please let me know if you want any other specific videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys.